Good afternoon, team. Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the PT Profit Leverage and Lifestyle Show. So, we're here to make money, we're here to leverage our time, and we're here to have a great lifestyle. So, I hope you guys are all having an amazing lifestyle, enjoying your freedom, and making heaps of profit. So, today, team, I want to talk about the ultimate sales process. Specifically, this is more focused on face-to-face trainers, but I'm also going to give you some context for online trainers as well. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because I've actually just had a coaching call with one of my clients, and we actually just refined his sales process to increase his conversion rate after a couple of outcomes that weren't really in our favor from what he was doing previously. So I want to go through our three-step process for the sales process and how you can do that, whether you're face-to-face or you're an online trainer. So I'm going to go through the face-to-face one first because it's a lot easier. The only difference between the face-to-face and online part is obviously there's no physical part involved because it's just going to be online. It might be on Zoom like we are now, or it might be just over the phone. Completely up to you. Doesn't really matter too much. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing. Personally, I like to do Zoom just because you can see the body language. But you might be wanting to do phone call because then you can take calls at the beach or in your car or whatever, and no one can really know the difference. Whereas if you're on Zoom, you obviously can see the background. So let's get into a team. Let's go through. Let's actually go through what most. Let's focus there. Let's go through what most personal trainers do for their sales process, and I'm going to take you through the flaws of why that is. So most personal trainers are just going to give people free PT sessions. Now, there's a couple of red flags with this for the trainer. Really good for the member, by the way. Oh, and also bad for the member as well, because it doesn't really help them long term. So Sam just had a phone call there. But what most personal trainers do, they do a PT session. Now, there's pros and cons to everything, of course, but what a PT session actually does is, for one, most personal trainers don't even do a consultation to find out what goals they want to achieve. They ask during the PT session, but that's not what the member is focusing on. They're just focusing on the PT session. They're not really talking about, and they're not really getting to really know why they want to achieve these goals, which is one of the most important things. So most PTs will just do a free PT session. They might spend like 5 minutes talking about their goals, or they'll talk about, if they have diabetes or all that boring stuff that the club will already know. Like they need to disclose that stuff about injuries and whatnot to the club when they first join, or they should be doing that anyway. It's not your responsibility. And if they do have that type of stuff with injuries, they'll tell you straight away. They're not stupid. So you don't need to ask those questions in the consultation process. Anyway, I'll get through the consultation process in a second. Most PTs will go through a face-to-face session, and that's pretty much all they do. So they're going to give people like a 45-minute PT session and basically give the client everything that they need to know. And what's the client going to do, or the member going to do? They're going to be like, hey, thanks so much. Thanks for all that free advice. I'm going to go do that. I don't need you anymore. Thanks so much. This is what happens a lot of the time. Like so many people that I talk to, their sales process is, I just want to help people. Yes, you want to help people, but this is not helping them. Giving them all the information once and they're going to forget about it when they wake up the next day is not helping them. They need the support and accountability long-term to actually make changes. It's like me having a consultation with someone that smokes cigarettes all day and just saying to them, doing a full consultation and I just say, hey, I just need you to stop smoking. These are what you need to do. And then just leave him to do it. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to wake up the next day. He's going to keep smoking because there's no accountability for the habits changing. I'm not sure if that was a good example or not, but we'll go with it for now. So, as I said, most people are just going to do a PT session. And then they're going to ask questions like, oh, cool. Well, would you like to keep doing personal training? You haven't given them a value stack. They don't even know what's included. all you're really basing it on is this one session that you've basically given them exactly what they want anyway. So why would they actually pay ongoing for your service? This is what most personal trainers do, right? And if this is what you do, please message me because I'm going to show you how to fix this. In fact, I'm going to show you how to fix it right now. Now, this is what you should do instead. You should have a 3-part or a 2-part, depending on your skill level. And I'm going to tell you both for your consultation process. Now, the first part and the most important part, the vital part, is the consultation, which in my case, I call it a health assessment. You might call it a strategy session. You might call it a goal setting session. You might call it just a consult, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. But the health assessment is the most important part. The reason why it's the most important, because you find out if they actually need help. And they're going to tell you if they need help. And if they don't need help, do not try and sell them. The whole point of the consultation process is to see if they need help. Going to see if they're a good fit for you and if you're a good fit for them. That's pretty much what the sales process is. Now, the stuff that you want to ask, and if you haven't watched my training on the questions to ask during consultation process, I'll give you a brief summary, but if you haven't watched that video or that podcast episode, go back and watch it. But essentially, you want to ask questions like, what are your health and fitness goals? Why do you want to achieve these goals? So why? And you want to create a gap. You want to create a gap that is ideally 12 months into the future. Because if, let's say, for example, you sit down with someone and they're like, I want to lose a couple of kilos. Okay, cool. We can do that in a couple of weeks. Then what is the goal? You're never going to get a client for just a couple of weeks. Well, there's no point getting a client for a couple of weeks. What's the long-term goal? What are you going to work on after that? And what's happening after that? What about your strength goals? What about your fitness goals? You know, why do you want to do that? Oh, I want to be able to run around with my kids more. Oh, beautiful. Happy days. Must be pretty important to you then. You know why we ask these questions? Because it creates emotion. People buy off emotion. Okay, people don't buy off logic. They buy off emotion. They justify it later with the results, with the logic. Okay, if that makes sense. There's one thing you take from this episode. It's people buy off emotion. So you need to get them into an emotional mindset, which means you need to ask them why they want to achieve a certain goal. You need to ask them what they need help with. Why haven't they achieved it yet? You're not trying to put people down, by the way. This is just getting the honest truth. Why they haven't got the results, whether it's nutrition, training, education, motivation, accountability, whatever it is. What do they need help with? Go on, need help with this, the same stuff. They're going to tell you multiple times that they need help. And that's the whole point of the health assessment. They want to tell you multiple times that they need help. Subconsciously, when you present a solution, they'll want to make a decision and buy from you. Okay? Now, very important during this process, you're not going to give them all the secrets. You're just identifying the problem right now. So the consult is only there to identify the problem. Once you've identified the problem, or if there's a problem, then you can do an optional thing called a movement assessment or a technique assessment or a movement analysis. You could call it that as well. Now, this is not a PT session. This is basically a technique session, essentially. So you're going to give them 3 exercises to do. They're going to show you how to do them first. More than likely, they're going to stuff up. The exercises that I used to do was the back squat, push-ups, lunges. Most people do them incorrectly. So then you say, cool, I'm going to get you to show me how to do it first, and I'm going to give you some feedback. Now, they're going to be crapping themselves at this point because they're not confident in doing it. That's the whole point. You want them to feel emotion, okay? So they're going to do it incorrectly. You're going to show them how to do it correctly, and then you're going to give them some extra tips or advice. Hey, look, instead of doing a back squat, what you could do instead to get to this point is you could do squats with some dumbbells. Or you could do it with a kettlebell, as an example. This is stuff that I can teach you down the track. See how you're forecasting the results of the forecasting working together. And same thing with the lunges and the push-ups. Show them some variations. Now, each exercise should only take 5 minutes. You're only doing 1 set, okay? This is not to fatigue them. You're not trying to get them hot and sweaty. You're just there to, again, identify how much help they need. Okay. Now, next part. Then you're going to ask 3 questions. First question, did you have fun? Second question, did you learn something new? Third question, can you see how getting help from a personal trainer is going to fast track your results? Yes, yes, yes. 3 yeses. And then what you're going to do, you're going to say, cool, let me show you how we can actually help you get the results that you want. And take them back over to the table or the consult room or whatever. And then you're going to go through your price presentation or your offer document. Now, offer document is essentially just a Canva template that we use to create a value stack, some client testimonials, and the price presentation all in one. So it's nice and professional, nice and easy for the clients to understand. Essentially, what you're going to do, you're going to show off 1 or 2 client testimonials, ideally 2 or maybe 3. So they know subconsciously that you can get people results. Then you're going to go through your 2 most popular options. For face-to-face trainers, I'd suggest 3 sessions a week and 2 sessions a week because they're going to get the best results. Then you're going to create a value stack for what you include. Now, a value stack essentially means it's basically making the perceived value a lot higher than what the actual cost of the service is. For example, if I said we include 3 sessions a week, plus your first session to set you up for success, body scan, measurements, goal setting and reassessment session every 4 to 6 weeks, nutrition guidance, 24/7 support, access to a VIP group on Facebook. All these things are included. The perceived value is really high. Let's say the value here is, and you also do like 5 free sessions for family and friends worth $100 each, extra $500 worth of value. So this is valued at over $1,000. And guess how much the price is? Only $200 a week. Oh, Jesus, sign me up right now. So the perceived value is a lot higher than what the actual price is. Whereas if you just said, yeah, 3 sessions is $200 a week, they're like, oh, yeah, it's probably a bit expensive. But if you say, look, these are all the things included, and it's only going to be $200 a week, people are like, oh, yeah, it's not too bad. Like, it's obviously a high price, of course. But, when you think of all the things that are justified, or all the things that are included, you probably justify it. Just saying. So you need to create a value stack. So when you're actually talking about your pricing, and you're never going to be able to sell a high ticket offer unless you do a value stack. Okay, you're only ever going to be competing on price if you don't do that, if you don't have the value stack. So basically, you're going to say, you have your 2 client testimonials. Then you're going to be like, cool, these are our 2 most popular options. You've got XYZ option. This is what's included. What do you like about this option? So you get them to sell themselves on the package. Haven't even told them the price yet, okay? You're going to get them to sell themselves on the package. Then you're going to move on to the second option, which is exactly the same, except 2 sessions instead of 3. And then after you say that, you're going to be like, cool, the 3 sessions a week is this option, this much. The 2 sessions a week is this much. Which one do you think is going to get you better results? You notice how I said which one is going to get you better results? Not which one would you like to go with, which one is going to get you better results? They'll probably more likely say the top option. Like, cool, no worries. Should we just go with that one then? Voila. This is the sales process. Okay. Now, the optional part here, you don't need to do the technique session or the movement assessment. Now, let me give you some tips here. When I was doing PT face-to-face, I actually hired a salesperson to do these consultations for me. And the challenge was he actually wasn't even qualified as a PT. So he couldn't even do it. So it forced me to make the sales process without the physical stuff in there. And guess what? The sales conversion stayed exactly the same. We stayed around 80% conversion. So that's why I say it's optional. The most important part is getting people in the emotional state of mind to make a purchasing decision, identify the problem, provide a solution, match up the budget to suit. That's all it is. Okay. Alrighty, let's move on to online. Now, this is super easy because all you're doing for online is exactly the same as what I just talked about, minus the physical session or the physical movement assessment. Tick, done. It's exactly the same process, whether you're face-to-face or whether you're online. Now, there are some things in there that you can add to make it a bit more of a no-brainer for them, like guarantees. For example, you might guarantee them to lose 10 kilos in 12 weeks, 5 kilos in 12 weeks, whatever it is, to make it a bit more of a no-brainer for them. Say, cool. Well, I'm going to guarantee you to lose 10 kilos in 12 weeks. Otherwise, you get a refund. Oh, all right. Sign me up. Eliminate the risk. Okay. Eliminate the risk. So it's a no-brainer for people to sign up. I'm not saying you have to do a guarantee, by the way, but it is going to help with your conversion to eliminate the risk. Some other things you can do is some bonuses. So you might say, cool. Now, once you join, you're also going to get a free recipe ebook or a recipe book. And you're also going to get, I don't know, some supplements as an example. And you're also going to get, X, Y, Z, whatever. But include some bonuses in there. Bump up, again, the perceived value is going up. Okay. I think I made my point. That's the ultimate sales process for both face-to-face and online. As I said, the only difference between face-to-face and online is you take out the middle part, which is the movement assessment, the consult or the health assessment, and the close stay exactly the same. Only ever present two options. Do you want this one or do you want this one? People will just make a decision. They'll naturally choose the cheaper option of the two, which is completely fine. And if they say no, you can always just drop sell them down to the lower option. Okay, you always start high, work your way down. You never pitch the low option first. Like I was talking to someone this morning. They have three different options. They have hybrid, which is face-to-face and online, just face-to-face or just online. They're presenting all three options every time. And she said, oh, people are always going for the cheapest option, the online. I was like, yeah, 100%. Because you're presenting them with three options. They're just naturally going to pick the cheapest of the three. Because they think, oh, I'm working with a trainer. I should be able to get results with whatever service they offer. So present them with two. They'll naturally pick the cheaper of the two, which should be 2 sessions a week. Bada bing, bada boom. Then most people will do 2 sessions a week with you. Hope that was valuable. Send me a message if this was valuable. I get a lot of messages on the podcast. I just want to make sure this is valuable to you. So send me a message, send me a DM. And of course, the only way this podcast grows is if you share it with a friend or share it on social media. I don't do any ads on this stuff. The only way this podcast is growing is by you guys. So share it with a friend, share it with me, tag me on social media, and I look forward to serving you in the next episode. Have an awesome day, team. Peace out. I'll see you soon.